All right, we are live.
Hey, everybody, it's Dale Jr. Thanks for tuning in today. We just wrapped up Dirty Air and had a great conversation about my Xfinity race and the race in general, and then Sunday and everything that went down for that, and leading up talking playoffs and playoff standings for leading into Martinsville and what we think might happen there. But our guest this week on the show is Austin Hill, so you'll want to tune in for that interview. But that should be a lot of fun. He's right in the middle of this Xfinity Series playoff battle with a few of our cars and some other guys. And I'm so glad that nothing bad has happened between him and Junior Motorsports drivers since we booked him to come on the show. So it won't be awkward. Anyways, let's get started with your questions you sent into Xfinity Racing. Alex is going to handle them today. Andrew's busy, but we're getting to it.
All right, our first question is from Kenny. Did running the Xfinity race on Saturday help you call the Cup race on Sunday at all?
Absolutely. I got out there and drove the car and understood some balance issues with the track and some of the challenges of trying to run the high line. The bottom actually in 1 and 2 worked really, really well. And so that was something that I thought would happen in the Cup race, and it did. We leaned heavily into that narrative of running the wall, right, in our pre-race. We had produced, sound bites around it. I did a voiceover for this little piece, and it was important to run the wall. There were some cars that made good time up there, but in the Xfinity race, I did understand that the track's a little bit wider for this particular weekend than I think we expected, and that bottom groove did come in handy for several cars throughout the day. In all the races, really. And so that's like one example of something. So, you go into the race a little more open-minded. It ain't like, hey, man, you got to make the top work or you're done. You can actually find some speed elsewhere.
Awesome. This next question has something to do with the pre-race. Melanie, she watched a Pitbull interview pre-race, and she wants to know if there's a celebrity or athlete you wish you could interview like that.
Well, I don't think there's one that stands out, to be honest with you, but it's always It's always nerve-wracking. At Homestead, I got to interview Pitbull. You know about that. It's on the show sheet in the morning. You get up and they're like, "Hey, here's the countdown to green show sheet," and you read this show sheet and there's like, okay, they're gonna toss it to Dale Jr. and Burton, and you're gonna be somewhere, and that's what you're doing. You don't get to really choose. I mean, you do get some influence, but it's pretty much, all spelled out for you, what they want you to do and what they'd rather you talk about and some of the topics that they think are prevalent. And so, in those moments, you get to say what you want. I get to ask Pitbull what I'd like to. I certainly go to my producer and say, hey, what do you want asked of Pitbull or whoever it may be we're interviewing? But I say, hey, when a celebrity comes to NASCAR, right, and then they experience it, right, they've been there that day, they watched the race or whatever, I really want to know their impression. Did they like it? Is it better than they thought? Is it not good? What, right? I want to know what that person thinks. What are they going to go back and tell their friends? What are they going to say? And so that's my first thing. And that was my question to Pitbull. You've been in this deal for a couple years now. What do you love about it? What do you think? What is NASCAR to you? And so he was full of energy, great guy, really genuine, fun to talk to, easy. Sometimes you get nervous about doing that, doing an interview with a celebrity because you're not sure how well they'll work with you in those moments and how happy they'll be to be doing the interview on camera. We see some extremes there when you watch F1 broadcasts, right? You get some celebrities on the grid that don't even want to do it, right? And so it can be, but usually that stuff's teed up and they're ready. We know they're coming. They know they're going to be part of the show, and they're kind of ready to switch it on. But I'll be honest, I don't think Pitbull switches it on. I think he's like that all day, every day. He's got great energy, and I interviewed Michael Jordan at Homestead a couple years ago. You're just always nervous, but excited, and it's a great experience when you're done. You're like, man, that went well, hopefully that went well. You really have to wait till somebody texts you on the phone and tells. Luckily, Morgan Overstreet texts me after that, and she goes, "That was a great interview," and I'm like, "Thank you so much for sending that text because I really don't know whether it was good or bad." And so we talked about this. We talked about that interview and how we were scrambling on the grid right before we went live in Dirty Air. So you'll want to listen to that because it was pretty comical how it all went down. We almost were not ready. So I'll say that. But.
Yeah. I think his the fact he named his album Trackhouse shows how all in he really is with it. That was pretty cool. Next one is from Ron. What did you think of the action from Tri-County Speedway and the car store? Both races had a lot of action.
They did, yeah. All right, here it is.
Yeah.
Tony Sr., right? He's my old crew chief from the Cup days. He was there. He was helping. He was with Tony Jr., and they were helping Chris Wright in the pro race. And so the pro race is happening, and Tony Sr. texts me, and he goes, "Is this your series?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Stick around, man. The late model stock race won't be this way." And so, I'll be honest with you, man. Straight up, the pro race was embarrassing. I want things to be sensational. I want there to be some controversy. I'm okay with drivers going over that line and maybe being a bit aggressive, but a lot of what I saw was egregious and just too much, right? The last lap, the guy just really got dumped. And we've seen that there before at that exact same racetrack in that exact same corner in that exact same situation a year or two ago. A guy getting turned off turn 4 coming to the checker and in the pro late model race. And so the deal with the pros is the drivers at times are a lot younger, they're still working on their racecraft. They're still understanding the do's and don'ts. And I think that they need a different experience when it comes to the driver meeting. They need a little bit different instruction. And Jack, who works with us at the Cars Tour, does a really good job. When he's got to say something about rough driving or wrecking with a young driver, he's very convincing. And so maybe there's something that we do a little bit differently. So we have this sort of all-in drivers meeting, and everybody comes, and it's all the pros and the late models, and maybe there's a little bit of a tailored experience for both, right? Not that our late models are immune to that same sort of shenanigans. I mean, my own drivers have been penalized races for intentionally wrecking drivers. So it does happen in the late model stocks, but it just seems like the late model stocks and at the Cars Tour level, the late model stock drivers have been in the series a lot longer. And there's a bit of a veteran presence there, Bobby McCarty and a few other guys, that will not tolerate, what some of those other drivers are doing on the racetrack. Deke McCaskill and a couple of those guys are there, and not only are they great stewards of the tour, but they also help those younger drivers really understand where the limit is, right? What's tolerated and what's not. The pro class doesn't really have that veteran presence. It's a lot of young kids really just trying to learn how to race. And so I wasn't shocked or surprised. I was more disappointed and embarrassed a little bit by the pro series. And, you're not going to have that every single week, but every once in a while it's going to happen, and you just have to try to get to the drivers, have a conversation with them, tell them, look, man, we cannot have this. It's even worse when it spills over into the pits. You got grown people fighting like kids, shouting over the roofs of race cars at each other. It's a really bad look.
Yeah. What'd you think about the late model stocks with Butterbean taking it home?
Butterbean just, spanked them, man. They've been fast there, and they kind of got one taken away from them at the last race at Tri-County, so they got the redemption that they wanted. Bobby McCarty and Stevie Nassie had a great battle for fifth, which was good. I I like it when I like it when the super guys come run our late model stocks. Stephen Nassy ran with us, and Bubba Pollard's ran with us before, and so we'd love to see all these drivers get them a late model stock car, come show up every once in a while and have some fun with us. I'd love for our Cup organizations and Xfinity teams like there's a few Xfinity teams that have some late model stock cars. Alpha Prime I think has one, but I'd love for our Xfinity and truck teams and Cup teams to house a late model stock car that they would either run the full or limited schedule on the Cars Tour, and so we'd have some more teams trying to compete. They had 30 cars at Tri-County. That's a great car count, and that's plenty. We had to actually add a couple cars to the field, but I'd certainly love to see some of these other teams, start buying race cars and start showing up.
Yeah, that'd be cool. A couple more for you here. This one, I love this question. Katie wants to know, who would the NASCAR equivalent to be like Taylor Swift dating Travis Kelce?
Wow.
Would it be Ryan Blaney, Denny Hamlin? That's the sum she gave.
Blaney, I think, is off the market.
Yeah. I think
Chase Elliott is our hope, right?
That's that equal star power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was that. Who was the girl that I think she was?
Livy Dunn.
Yes.
Talking about that.
I believe that Chase went to NASCAR and said, I think she's cool. I'd love to meet her. And I think it would be great for NASCAR if you invited her to come to the track. It would show, maybe some of her fans might be curious as to why she was there, and they may then, in turn, experience NASCAR for the first time. So I believe Chase sort of leveraged that actually happening, which was really cool on Chase's part. But it's going to be if anybody, I think it's going to be Chase Elliott. Mm-hmm. It's going to have to, if anybody can create that type of
that buzz
in the sport, it would be him.
Yeah. Like, you got a suggestion at all?
Chase Elliott. He's right.
Yeah, it's pretty spot on. Last one here from Kelce. What's the silliest rumor you've heard about yourself?
I hear a lot of it's a lot of times it's owning property in places that I don't own property.
Really?
There was a rumor that me and Michael have better ones than this, but there was a rumor that me and Matt Kenseth had property together up in Wisconsin somewhere. That I was. Oh, man! My buddy said you was on a snowmobile last year, bar hopping with Matt Kenseth. I'm like, no, never did that. But it's you're buying property, or you're gonna buy property, or you bought property, or you own property, or you're gonna build a racetrack somewhere. I hear that from time to time.
Yeah. There was a time, it's funny, kind of going back to the last question. Dale was the bachelor that everybody rumored to have been, somebody's dating. And I remember for a while, what's the girl's name that won the very first American Idol that became
Kelly Clarkson?
Kelly Clarkson.
Oh.
There was that rumor that they were dating, which was funny only because I remember this because Kelly Clarkson did come to Daytona and did meet Dale right after drivers meeting. I don't know if you remember this, but it was funny because she goes, "Oh yeah, we're rumored to be dating in all the tabloids, and it's good to finally meet you."
That's funny.
and like, so since we're dating, and it's according to all the tabloids, it's probably good that we meet, or something like that. And it was kind of funny.
Yeah, she's awesome. Every time that I've actually crossed paths with her, man, she's been super nice.
Oh yeah,
super nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, that's all I got for you.
All right, great questions, man. Hope everybody enjoyed their weekend. I hope you enjoyed Homestead. I had a blast. Not sure where we're going to run next year. We're definitely going to run another race next year, and I'm looking forward to Martinsville, racing right up the road from the house, about an hour and 20 minutes, and we're only 2 races to go, and we're going to figure out who this champion's going to be. My pick, Blaney's still in it. We're still alive, so looking forward to seeing what happens this weekend in Martinsville. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you.
All right, we're done with